Hi, this is Matt Compton. I'm going to start my equity walk by looking at public spaces, starting with the outside of our building. I'm starting with the front of our school where all guests have to come in. They have to ring that doorbell essentially and then show ID and explain why they're here in order to get into the building. And then I'll just kind of start by walking all the way around. This is a big campus. We have 3,300 students, so it's going to take a few minutes to walk around. We do have a couple of security officers here that kind of monitor things. They go and check all the doors during every passing period. There's a couple doors here, but they're always locked. I guess we'll go and check and make sure, but there's key fob entrances in most of these that allows faculty and staff to get in, but not students. And I'll kind of speak to some of the policies that we have in place for safety. I apologize if the wind is loud. We have, again, those security officers that walk the building. We also have some policies put in place. It's stressed very early on, and we also have some signage too that students are not allowed to let anybody into the building, no matter what. Usually they try to let their friends in for like in the morning whenever they're running late, or if they go off campus to grab lunch, which they're not allowed to. But so there is some consequences, and those are told up front because it was such a problem for a while. A plan of action if they're a guest and they don't know where to go. All those doors were locked. Here we have some space that kind of opens up to, yeah, this is locked too. Opens up to what we call pod spaces, and I'll kind of show you some pod spaces when we get to the inside of the building. It's like some of these doors will, around here, go straight to art classes. So I don't want to interrupt those classes by pulling on the door. But there's no key fob entrance. It's just a key there that gets them into the building. And they have that so that they can, I don't know if you can tell, there's like a string here to dry some art, and so they use this corridor every once in a while to finish out their art projects. Here we have our FFA area. You can kind of see some of the kids working in there. Well, I don't know if I want to show kids working in there, but this is gated too. So again, it's a secure area. There's a door to get in. I don't know if you saw that. But there's also a gate in case they need to get bigger equipment in and out. Again, it's still secure. There's no issue there. A delivery area. That's going to lead to our fine arts area. So it's a big delivery door there. And this is locked and oh, sorry. Again, another entrance into our fine arts area. It's locked and secure. This band hall right there, there's a doorbell on it. I don't want to interrupt them. It sounds like they're practicing right now, so I don't want to pull on that door. This is an area that's been updated. Fine arts, the theater department works a lot out here. And in order to keep it secure, what they've done is they put this new gate up. So they can leave projects out here without them being disturbed. And I think also they can be out here during class like the ag kids can. We saw in the FFA area. They can be out here as well and working without it being in an unsecure environment. Another secure door there. This is another big area that a lot of people come to when they get to the building. We have a big parking lot back here with all of our fields. And so a lot of people don't go to the front entrance. They'll come back here, especially students. And while they're doing that, they have to, they're supposed to check in the front. There you go, got one of our custodians. He's checking doors too. I saw him check that one, so that's good. This is one of those entrances students like to be brought into or like to sneak into. It opens up into our cafeteria. So there's usually monitors that will sit in the lunchroom, making sure students aren't coming and going. Secure. So we're kind of mirroring the other side. We just kind of walked around the fine arts and the FFA area, the ag area. Now we're walking around all of the athletics facilities. So these doors, and then the next ones, they'll open up into the gym. And again, they have key fob access, which are also being updated as well. A couple more to our athletics facilities. These areas have been updated recently too. There's a double safety security issue here. So for some reason, and I'm not sure the entire reason, these have these garage doors, but then we also have these other accordion type cages that will open up, and they will, I guess it's just an added security, and I'm not exactly sure why. One more door here that goes facilities, everything just is always, they stress it big time here. To make sure the door is locked behind you, make sure you hear it latch. All exterior doors need to be locked at all times during the school day. One last one, I thought that was the last one that went into our athletics wing, but it's not. We have this one as well that's goes into our training room. And I think we're on the home stretch here. My watch just asked me if I wanted to record a walk. This is our freshman wing. We're only about 7 or 8 years old. I'm trying to think, 15. Yeah, so this is year number 8. And about 5 years into our existence, I realized that this area was growing way too fast. And so we built a whole nother wing that had to be different. So I'll wrap it up coming up here to the other entrance of our freshman wing. It'll be the last doors that we see before you get back to the front. This is a kind of a unique area as well because it opens up to I'm sorry, I'm a little distracted here. It'll open up to like an open area. So these outside doors, since they open up to the exterior, these are what's usually locked. We'll have a key fob access here. And then the inside doors, beyond that, are usually unlocked during the day. And that's our outdoor area. As I continue the equity walk, inside our building now in one of the pods, and as you can see, lots of different classrooms are associated with this pod. This pod specifically is where I teach, and it's a health science wing with the exception of a couple different classrooms, this one and this one right there, that are for forensics. We all kind of work together. Walking into the classroom, every teacher sets their desks up a little bit different. I work in pairs a lot, in groups. You can see I've got my objective and target on the board. Not everybody does it. In our building, we have TVs in every classroom, and within the health science and CTE, actually the whole CTE department, we're required to post our daily lesson plans on the TV. It's kind of like a daily slide through Google Slides, and it'll have the objective and learning target on there as well. So that's something that is kind of streamlined across the district. Here in the lab, lots of different things going on. We have an old lab set up here with microscopes. We're looking at tissue, lots of hands-on stuff. Those mannequins up there, they're starting to build on. They don't look like they have a lot going on right now, but they have, we're building clay brains in them, so they eventually look something like this. And like I said, this is our health science wing, so if a student chooses to try to get their EMT or CMA certification at the end of their high school, of their senior year, they kind of go through a set of 4 different classes. And so we've kind of condensed them all into this one area. And I'll walk through a math section as well. Another lab area for the CMA. We have some IV labs set up, practice equipment. Stuff over here, not even sure what that is. This is set up for an EKG. This is a really neat class up here too. This is health science theory. So each table has a different career associated with it in the health science world, and they walk through all of the activities in this particular area. So they're with a partner and they kind of walk through it. We have everything from nursing, you see here on the corner of the desk, biotechnology, research and development, medical imaging. We try to keep things relevant. Whatever is a common or needed job within the North Texas area is something we try to focus on. It's just a workroom. Each pod has their own little printer, break room area. This right here is all of our CMA interns, and all of them were able to get their certification last year. Every single one of them had 100% pass rate, so that was kind of cool. Over here in the math wing, very similar. Flags up here. Not as much stuff on the walls, just because they have a lot of different classes here. I believe it's mostly math, but lots of different age levels and another printer, break room. And so there are 6 of these wings right here. Yeah, I kind of just walked through in the main campus, and then another 3 in another part of the campus. There's also these TVs that are set up, and that allows for students to kind of collaborate. We got these couches, and a lot of times students will be working here or on desks. Lots of just different areas for them to come out and collaborate together. flags there across the way. We have a very diverse campus. Lots of foreign exchange students as well. This is what we encourage our students with. We have our 5Es. All right, I've got Russell Sharp. He's the department head for special education department, and I'm gonna ask him a few things that have to do with our campus here at Eaton. In the category of like differentiated instruction, first question I'm gonna ask you here is, how is Learning for All being implemented? Because I know you kind of have an area that kids tend to be not left behind, but struggle a little bit.
Totally. So we've got a lot of different avenues for that. The first thing I would say is we use the collaborative consult model in terms of support for special education. So essentially the idea is that we have certain teachers over certain content areas that will kind of do check-ins and help teachers differentiate instruction either through accommodation, modification, or just kind of generally giving them maybe like tips or tricks to work with certain students. And we kind of work off of the idea that special education students are special education students, but they're general education students first. And so working through this model, we still keep our sped kids in class most of the time, to foster that independence, but still giving them, check-ins or having somebody come in and work with them or pull them out and work with them. Or we also have the option of using content mastery, which is a separate space for them to work in that is specifically designed for special education students. So it's a smaller group, it's a quieter environment. They usually can get more, one-on-one support, or if not one-on-one support, then at least a smaller ratio from staff to student. So between the collaborative consult and the content mastery, those are the two biggest things we do in terms of differentiation. Obviously, like certain teachers are pretty good at that within their own classroom as well, and that's part of the collaborative consult model, is helping them be better in the classroom and then picking up the kind of extra stuff that's left over from there.
Yeah, you mentioned, I'm just kind of curious about this going on, like not on here. When you said certain teachers are over certain like subject areas, are they certified in that area too, or are they like sped certified first and then they kind of just have some history, or like they know that subject a little bit better?
It depends. Certain teachers, like we have what's called applied classes here, which would be another layer of support. So if certain students have a deficit in math or reading skills, we have not remedial classes, but classes that are a little slower paced, that they can work on those base skills to hopefully build up to working on level. But yeah, in terms of the content area, like me, for example, I am our kind of science guy, so to speak, for special education. I don't have a science certification. I've certainly considered getting one, but they hired me on to support through the inclusion model that we used to use, where I'm like in the classroom all the time.
Yeah.
And honestly, that was the challenge for me initially, is having to learn the material because I wasn't coming from a background in that. And since I've gotten really good at it, because I've stuck with science for the past like 8 years, and so now I could teach it pretty well, and I do, in fact, a lot of the time. Whereas like those applied teachers I was talking about, they have a certification usually. So because they're giving concrete and direct instruction to students, they're the ones that have certifications. So like our applied math teachers, applied English teachers, they have those certs. Otherwise, the rest of us, in terms of just sped teachers, at the least we have a special education cert.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. What Let's see here. How are underachieving students cohorts being identified? What about underachieving students? So how are those being identified? Do we have like a what do they call the process?
It used to be called RTI,
yes,
and now they're changing the phrasing to MTSS, which is multi-tiered system of support, if I'm not mistaken. It's the same thing though. Essentially, if a student is identified to be struggling more than they probably should be, teachers can refer them to our MTSS liaison, I guess, is the person, Jenny Coons downstairs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so they're essentially the first step in addressing particular struggle of students. So they it's like they're not placed in SPED or 504, but they are kind of checked up on a little bit more. I think they're given certain academic goals to try and meet. And so if that MTSS process still isn't working, then I believe they're referred to 504. And if that doesn't work, then they're referred to special education.
Got it.
So it's a lot of different steps to get to the SPED label. Rightfully so, because we don't want to just slap a SPED label on some kids and throw a bunch of accommodations and be like, all right, we're good. We want to make sure that they're given what they need to succeed, but still required to partake in the academic struggle, so to speak.
Yeah. Yep. Cool. What evidence is there that IEPs are living documents?
Oh gosh.
ARDs?
Yeah. Living documents in the sense that, it can change at the drop of a hat, if, technically speaking, if a student masters a goal, we're supposed to be calling another ARD to replace that goal, essentially, if that's necessary.
Oh, okay.
Or, if a student is, just struggling with maybe the pacing of a class, then we can call an ARD and have a quick amendment to maybe put some more accommodations in place, or put some more support minutes in place, or put another goal in place if we need to. So, we always tell the parents, if they need to call a meeting for something and feel it's necessary, they can. If they need to contact the diagnosticians and request additional testing, they can. So living document in the sense of if we need to change something to support that kid, then we go do it. We just schedule it and we figure that out. So it's very collaborative in that sense of, it's not just me deciding, it's me with parents, with an AP, with a gen ed teacher, with the diag, all kind of discussing, what's going to be the best next step for this kid. So
very cool. Let's see here. What instructional strategies are being implemented to meet the needs of students who have additional exceptionalities? I don't really know. That's a pretty wordy question. I guess what they're saying maybe is I think they're seek. Do we have is that what we have a program here?
Yeah.
That's what they're referring to.
We have, so if I'm taking that question correctly, if kids with exceptional quote unquote challenges would probably be SEEK, which is our behavior unit for students who struggle with emotional regulation, I suppose, and we also have SOAR, which is our life skills class.
Okay.
And that's medically fragile students, intellectually disabled students, students who, when you think special education, that they're the kids you're thinking of really usually. So yeah, we definitely have those two things in place. SEEK, if we have a kid who is placed in SEEK, they're usually given, to get that placement, you have to receive certain testing. So they're given a functional behavior assessment to see what is the function of the behaviors they're exhibiting and how can we try to correct that. And actually, just before this, I left a meeting about a student who is coming back from DAP being placed in SEEK on what we call a reset. And so certain students with, those emotional problems, whenever they kind of have an outburst or an episode or whatever you want to call it, if it's severe enough, we give them the reset where they stay in the SEEK room for usually about 2 weeks, school time. And essentially have to earn points based on their behavior to get back out into class.
Okay.
So it's, you know, in terms of the exceptional differentiation or whatever, it's giving them the chance to kind of collect themselves mentally and train on those skills, like essentially social skills, before they go back out into the, you know, general ed environment. Whereas SOAR, that's obviously a little bit different because they're students who are cognitively working at a much trying to think of the
lower.
Yeah, they're working at a slower pace. They're working at a much lower level. So, you know, if you were to walk in the SOAR room, it looks a lot like a kindergarten class almost. Because they're learning very basic reading, they're very basic writing, math, social studies, but also learning like functional skills like how to cook, how to do your laundry, how to count money. So in that sense, students with those sorts of needs receive a little bit more like real world, so to speak, like practice in those regards. So.
Okay. Well, I think that might be all. Let me kind of look through something real quick and make sure. I think that helps out a lot, man.
Cool.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope I wasn't too long-winded.
No.
I was trying to be thorough.
The last bit of my walkthrough, I'm going to do inside and kind of walk around the first floor, which shows a lot more. When you walk into our building here, you see just all of our hardware, and then also some student work here that they've displayed. The front has a lot of bulletin boards. Kind of showing here PTSA, some announcements. Just some student work. Oftentimes the counselors have something up here. In the past, it's always been students getting acceptance letters, just pictures of that. We'll come back here. We have this Eagle Strong every Thursday, Monday through Thursday, sorry. Here's our 5Es again. Those are posted everywhere throughout the building. Big lecture hall for staff meetings, whatever they need. One thing that's kind of neat that we're doing is a leadership council. So they meet in here once a week. Leaders that have been nominated from all parts of the campus. Each athletics program, fine arts program, club, all that. Down here is our teaching and training pathway classes. This is kind of our pathway for early learning right here. Our 4 classes that put them on track to be a teacher, and then just kind of highlighting some of those classes that we have. SCCLA. This is one of my favorite hallways because it shows all the different artwork that they do. You can see some are displayed in the window here as well.
I don't know how many go or apply, so maybe
Down here we have our ag hall, floral expressions. There's welding down there. Lots going on. There was somebody down there. I didn't want to interrupt their meeting. They were talking about something. Cafeteria here. We have several lines here on this side. Our menu. And then all the tables are kind of put up right now. You can see, again, there's those 5 E's that we love to push to the students, and a couple other lines over there, specialty lunches, a little stage as well. Here's our homecoming dance. Down here we have band. All the fine arts actually are down here, so I'm not going to walk down this way because I don't know what they have going on. It sounds like they're in the middle of practice. So AD signs. You good? You good?
Yeah, I'm waiting for my mom to pick me up.
Okay. Always something going on down here. We got choir room. Maybe an outdated bulletin board. I won't go too much further here, but you can hear them practicing for band as well. Here's our Performing Arts Center. Sounds like there's something going on. Campus is really nice. Like I said, it's only about 8 years old. Here's a little courtyard. This area is open. Buses meet in the back there. Y'all waiting on a ride? Okay. Someone give you the okay to stay inside?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh. This is our athletic swing, and it's closed off by a gate. I'm gonna go around here, hit up another area, but you'll see some of these signs too. We host several blood drives throughout the year. You know, Brody. I'm doing an assignment right now for my for a grad program I'm in. Here, a bunch of signs. This is our NHS student council area. We have a little area where tickets go on sale for certain events and spirit gear, things like that. Here's the sign if they need help with technology, they know what to do. Our CT department's pretty top notch, I think, here. Our leaders really do a good job of branding it and pushing certifications and getting these kids to be skilled and credentialed, able to have a leg up in the competition of the workforce. These posters, or sorry, these bulletin boards are for each class. I think the theme for homecoming was Casino Royale, so each one has a little bit to do with that. This is our diversity bulletin board. There's always some sort of Spanish Heritage Month or Black History Month, something that's advertised right here that is really neat. Something else about volunteer opportunities. Attendance offices here. And then the library right there. Nurse's office. Each wing of the building has its own elevator. Some more CTE classes here. This is an awesome pod right here. This is our foreign languages pod. Lots of student workout. Kind of see on those windows. Down here we have our SOAR program that Mr. Sharp and I were talking about just a little while ago. And as we exit the main building, big courtyard area, and this whole area is our freshman wing. As we enter the freshman wing, we've got some more fine arts classes and displayed stuff here. Just some stuff that has to do with the freshman class. Welcome, signage, our 5Es again, but I believe that it's a student-made 5Es. Some more artwork, more of the 5Es that really want to introduce that to these freshmen. A lot of collaboration areas. These boards can be written on and erased. That's one of the cool things about this school. All the glass windows are a safety hazard, but they also allow for the classroom to be a little bit bigger. So you can send a group out, and that group can work out in the pod with the teacher, kind of still keeping an eye on them. So here we have our athletics wing, all of our records posted here. Each sport has their own board. Got a really nice training room that's shut down right now. Actually, go back in here.
We got 14 birdies.
We have a big group of student trainers, and they get to do a little bit of everything here. All the equipment back here. They get introduced to it all. Tubs here. So I get a light on here. Locker space. More boards here for each sport on the other side. All the football coaches. See Baker.
This one's 8 now, but 24. Windows on both sides. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Fair enough. That's sweet. What do you? Are you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Excuse me,
it's
guys.
it's probably
Always stuff going on down here too, just like fine arts. Here's our indoor facility. Beautiful space here. Got these drop down nets so we can share space on bad weather days. Excuse me, guys. Show you a little bit of the weight room here. Great facilities for our kiddos. We really don't have a lack of anything. And then our gym, open gym here. See some volleyball. They do a great job of celebrating seniors here and all the hard work that they've put in for the last 4 years.